Hello everyone, welcome to Rockstar Gaming. My name is Eric. This is going to be a continuation of our solo series where I take a look at a game that has a solo mode, or in this case is a solo game, and show it off for you guys. I'm hoping that this one will become a series in itself, as it does have a campaign mode. So today we're going to be taking on the first scenario of Gloomhaven, Buttons and Bugs. I did just receive this just recently. I've played through the first scenario a few times and wanted to go ahead and play it on camera for you guys so you guys can see how it looks, how it plays, and see if it is right for you. If you do enjoy this playthrough once it is done, or even right now, go ahead and hit that like button so that way I know that you guys are enjoying this one. Hit the notification bell to know when the next video in this or other series are coming out, and also make sure to hit that subscribe button there. As I said, we are going to be starting with the first scenario of the game. I have everything set up right now. I have picked my character, which in this case is going to be the Bruiser. I have, according to the back of the card right here, grabbed the 4 level 1 abilities, which is the Shield Bash, Spare Dagger, Warding Strength, and Leaping Cleave. So that is what I have. And basically for this first couple of adventures here, following the Learn to Play manual, which is right here, as well as the Diz tutorial, which I have gone through on another playthrough. So we're kind of going through that. Again, using the character that is recommended to start off and play the game with. I do hope, if we develop this into more episodes, to show off the other characters, especially during scenarios, spoiler, that it specifically asks you to, the game specifically asks you to play as. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Again, I have my 4 abilities right here. Is Shield Bash on the A side with a 3 attack on the top with a defense there, as well as on the bottom a 4 movement. And then we've got Spare Dagger, which gives me 3 attack at a range 3, also with a 2 attack on the bottom with a pierce on there. Then we've got Warding Strength, which gives me 3 damage, a pushback of 2, and a strengthen ability there. And on the bottom, again, giving me 2 defense. And then finally, we've got Leaping Cleave, which does 3 damage to those 2 squares or hexagons shown on the card, as well as a jump of 3 movement. And this also does give me a, I think, air or wind element as well to use on the B side of one of these cards. So we will go ahead. I do have my player modifier board over here set up. I've got the monster one set up over there. I'm leaving it just on the standard difficulty for this first one. I'm not going to increase or lower the difficulty. Like I said, I've played this one a couple times, and it's not too bad of a starting mission there. And over here, I am just using, for my player character, just the level 1. There's no level 1 card specifically for the Bruiser or any of the other characters. It is just the standard array here that is on this dashboard. So what we are going to do is go ahead and get the scenario started. Go ahead and make a board, so to speak. So we're going to go right here into our scenario deck and pull the first card, which gives us our synopsis of what is going on. They also do put on the top of the bottom of this card items that you will be able to utilize after scenario 1. You get to start using them after scenario 2, basically using any cards from any scenarios that you have completed or any cards that you've passed through the scenario deck. So once this is over and going into the next scenario, we will have quite a few different item cards that we can utilize, but for now we're not going to be utilizing any items during this playthrough. So let's go ahead and read that shrinking feeling. What a time for Gloomhaven. First, a black tornado from the void nearly destroyed the city. Then there were reports of the very essence of corruption trying to end everything. But all's well that ends well. And at the center of both events, hail a mysterious Aether, A-E-S-T-H-E-R. no idea, who lives in a derelict tavern, the Crooked Bone. It is said that she can turn anyone into a hero, exactly what you want to be. Sure, you don't have a lot of training, but put in front of the right adventure and you get the acclaim that is due to you. So, with that bold purpose, you step across the threshold of the Crooked Bone and... No, that's not right. Everything is growing. Why is the doorway so large? Why are you so... small? Is this some sort of aether enchantment? You've been shrunk. And then it says on here, play through scenario 1, a rude welcome. So we're going to go ahead and put that off to the side over there. And we're going to draw the next card in the scenario deck called a rude welcome. It is a level 1 scenario, and that level 1 basically is going to determine what level your character is during the course of the game. So basically you quote unquote level up as you go through and complete the scenarios. So there's that. So scenario 1, a rude welcome. Got some fancy gear there. You whirl around, taking in your familiar yet unfamiliar surroundings. Your attention settles on a scruffy character behind you, luckily on par with your diminutive stature. Nice and shiny, like it's never been used. Hand it all over, and I'll let you live. Well, that simply won't do. Your gear is unused, but there's really only one solution for that. So, according to this, we have monsters of a bandit guard, and our goal is going to be to defeat all monsters. Again, sorry about the top camera. It is a little blurry. Do apologize for that. So, that is all we're going to read on the card right there. So, before we flip over, we are first going to put over here in our monster dashboard. Can't remember what these items are called. We're going to pick the bandit guard card right here. That is going to show us what initiative it does have on its turn. It is going to have 8 health with 1 armor there on the bottom. And depending on the initiative, it's either going to get 1 to 2 movement, it's going to get 1 to 2 damage, and then over here it is going to get an extra defense if it does have that lower initiative score right there. So what we're going to go ahead and do is place that there, and now we need to figure out where we are putting our bad guys. So we're going to flip this over, and that does give us right here our map that we're going to utilize. I'll go ahead and bring it up here so you guys can kind of see how that looks, because again, I understand the top camera doesn't really show this justice. Hopefully this all comes out fine. If it doesn't, I'm sure you guys will let me know down below in said comments. So you can see under 1 and 2, 1 being down here and 2 being up there, you can see that is where the bandits are going to go. We're going to place a green cube on the one and a blue cube on the other one. This white symbol right here is where we are going to be placing our little miniature. We've got some red zones there that are going to be, if you hit them, you get damaged for 1 there. And then all of those items in a green hex are going to be things that we just cannot pass. What do we have there? We've got a hole in the ground for 1 right there. We've got a random sword. Looks like a broken bottle of some sort. A bucket or a stein. Another potion bottle. And I think that is it. So we're going to go ahead and place that right there, and then I'm going to place my character where it goes here. Then we're going to place the green cube there, and we're going to place said blue cube there. We're also going to set our dials right here. Number 1, which is green, even in the room here. I have to look in a different lit room, but these both look almost black to me. Luckily, they are numbered as to which one they go with. So number 1 here with 8 health is going to go to the green. Number 2 here is going to go to the blue. I already have my dial set up here, which according to my character card for level 1, 12 is my max hit points at this time. So what we're going to go ahead and do, let me move this over here a little bit up there because I'm going to be doing this with my cards somewhat, is we are going to pick what cards I'm going to use for turn 1 and determine my initiative. I think what I'm going to go ahead and do is use Shield Bash first for my hand and use Wardening strength. More than likely, I'm going to try to use the top attack here to push this green cube into that thing of nails or whatever that is, that hazard right there, and we're going to move in with this one. Before we do that, I'm going to determine that 15 is going to be my initiative, which is on this card right here. But let's go ahead and see what the initiative of the other of the bandits is going to be. We're going to roll this cube that does have a neutral, plus, and minus. That'll determine where this cube goes on this board, and then that will correspond to the initiative as well as the attacks and movement of the monsters there. So basically, you're going to be using this die a lot to determine your own modifiers as well as the monster or villain modifiers throughout the game. So let's go ahead and start this off with determining their initiative. So that did go to neutral. So he's going to stay right there. He's going to be at initiative 50, and so the bandits are going to have 1 movement and 2 attack when they go. Alright, so first thing we're going to do is use my forward movement right here, and I'm going to go 1, 2, and stop right there. So the movement on that card is going to be over. I could have also used a little bit of movement right here if I didn't want to use the main ability down there, if I wanted to, but I did not. So we're going to go ahead and flip that to my B side and place it back in my hand. Then, since I'm right there, we're going to go ahead and use the warding strength, and I'm going to do a 3 attack and push the creature 1 over. So now before I attack, I am going to go ahead and roll the die to see what my modifier is going to be over here, and it is a neutral, which is going to be a 0 modifier. So nothing's going to be added to my attack, which means I'm going to do 3 damage to the creature. However, it does have 1 defense right there, so that gets reduced down to 2. So the, let's see, green is going to go down to 6 health right there. I am going to push him 1, and then he's going to take another damage from that. I should now, after that is over, going next spot on my card, should be able to get a strength token added to my conditions right there. Strength, it gives me advantage on all attacks, remove at the end of next turn, which means on the next turn I do get to roll for advantage, so that will be nice right there. My attack is also done, so on my modifier board here, I do need to, and I do this after every attack, move it down 1 cube, because it basically changes which modifier I can get when I roll. The only change in the next modifier here is going to be that the plus modifier, or the plus result, is going to give me a +2 instead of just a +1. That's if I can roll it. We're going to go ahead and switch this card here to its B side, place it back into my hand, and now we're going to go ahead and go with the monster's turn. The green one will go ahead and go first. He's going to move in back exactly where he was before, and he is going to attack. They're going to attack now using the same die results over here for their modifier board, and they got a minus right there, so that's going to be a -1. He's doing 2 damage. That is going to hit me for 1. I don't have anything on me that blocks that damage, so I'm going to grab my dial and move it. I keep on making it increase. I'm going to go down to 11 health. The other creature is going to just start his little journey over to me, and they're going to go 1 there on the board. And then also, before I forget, because one of the monsters did attack me, I do have to move their cube down. Just so you know, if I don't catch it, I'm predicting it right now because I have played through a few games where I've basically kept forgetting to move the dial or move the block there, and I couldn't remember how many times I was supposed to have moved it already during a turn, so that is on me completely. So if I do it, it's not intentional. I completely just missed that step. I don't know why I keep on doing that. So there is that. So I'm gonna go ahead and pick my cards for the next round. I think I'm gonna do let's see, I think I'm gonna do Skewer first, or not first, but have it on there. And I think also I'm going to use Spare Dagger. I think I'll put that out next just so I can get 2 attacks in that way, and both of them, even if they increase or lower down to their initiative down to 30 and get that extra what do you call it, defense, I should be able, with the pierces on here, to take them out. There's not a way. I know that this one can skewer two opponents right next to each other. There's no point in this scenario where the blue cube is going to get to me in a position where I'm going to be able to utilize that. That's just not going to happen. Even if I had him walk around this way, it would have been a while before he got here, and he would have to go through a hazard, which he wouldn't have done. So there was no way to basically have that happen. So we're going to go ahead and choose 27 as our initiative and go from there. Now for their initiative, we're going to go ahead and roll this here, and we got a plus. So their initiative is going to be up here at 70, so I was going to be fine no matter what, and their movement is going to be 2, and their damage is going to also be 2. Alright, so I'm going to attack with the skewer. I am, though, also going to infuse this ability with the wind element over here. I'm going to use one of the cubes for now. That would go on one of the other villain dashboards to cover up this wind to show that I have used it. So we're going to do 3 damage here, 4 damage here with Pierce 2, meaning I am going to be able to just negate their shield that they have and do minimum or around 4 damage, depends on if I get a plus or not. So hopefully we can take him out during this turn, and unfortunately I do not have a way of getting to the second enemy here, so the first enemy is just going to be the one I take out, hopefully. So let's go ahead and do that. I do have advantage on my attack from the strengthen over here, so hopefully I don't get stuck with a minus or a neutral. Hopefully I can get a plus sign during this attack. So let's go ahead and try for that. So I do have a plus sign. I'm going to take the better result, and that was a neutral, so I'm going to keep that plus that I rolled right there, which is going to give me a +2 on this attack. And yeah, that 3 is going to turn into 3, 4, 5, 6. So I basically overkilled the green bandit. He is dead. We're going to move this down to 0 or blank right there. And that is going to be that for that bandit. I feel silly now because I am basically wasting this attack right here because I thought I would possibly need it. So that is completely on me. I probably should have done one of the movements instead. So I am going to burn this here, and I'm going to do a 2 movement to get to the other bandit. 1, 2, place myself back on my starting area. He's going to get to me to be able to attack, which is fine. That way I'm not burning another card. So both of these cards are donezo. The spare dagger is going to go to its B side, go back into my hand. The skewer, though, is going to go into my discards right here, which is where that is going to stay. Because I did attack, I do need to remember to move my modifier cube down 1. So there is that. And then it is going to, now that I am done, be the blue bandit's turn. Blue bandit is going to move 1, 2 right there. Blue bandit is going to roll for its attack. So let's go ahead and roll. They got a plus, so that is going to hurt. They got 2 plus another 2 on me. Now if I wanted to, I could discard my 1 A side card that I haven't used, Leaping Cleave, and basically negate that damage, but I don't think I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna risk it. I'm gonna reduce my 1. Let's see. So 11 goes down to 7 right there. This dial is a little bit difficult to use there, so we're going to be back down to 7 right there. So that's that. I do have to remember to discard my modifier there. That was supposed to end at the end of the last turn, so that's fine. So they hit me with that, so they are also going to move down to their next attack, and so I believe that is everything with their turn. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and on this round, to try to maximize my damage output, I am going to use Overwhelming Assault, and I'm going to use Unstoppable Charge. This is going to probably result in me at the end of the turn doing a short rest to get my cards back, because I won't have enough cards to get Leaping Cleave at the end. I could take Leaping Cleave, but what I'm trying to do is add the +1 result to my attacks here and use the 4. Main reason being I don't want to necessarily throw this card into the lost pile. I probably could, but then that again would only give me 2 cards for the toward the end of the round. So I think that is going to be the play here. Now, because of the fact that I'm using the 2 cards I'm using, I'm going to go with the 61 as my initiative here. Fortunately, unless they also roll a plus here in just a second, they are probably going to go before me for the first time. The most damage they're going to be able to hit me on a roll is going to be 3, but it also might be negated. Mine also might be negated, which would stink, but we're going to go for it. So it's going to drop me down to 3 or 4 there. So let's see how that goes. They're going to roll their initiative of neutral. So they're going to go here at initiative 50. They are still going to go ahead of me. They're not going to need to move, but they are going to do 2 damage. Possibly +1, depending on what they roll on their turn. Alright, since their cube is already right next to me, it negates the walking part. They're going to go ahead and do 2 damage. Let's go ahead and roll this to see what they're going to get on the modifier. And they got a plus, so they hit me for another +1. So they hit me for a total of 3 on this one. I'm going to go ahead while I'm remembering and move down their cube. But they're going to hit me for 3, which is going to reduce me down to 4 health. So I am flashing red right now. So let's go ahead and see what we can do. If I would have had foresight, I would have used Leaping Cleave at some point because that does have a heal on the other side of the card. We're going to go ahead and get this started. We're going to go ahead with this move here with the add +1 to all your attacks this round option. So I'm not going to necessarily move him around on here. I'm just basically getting the +1. Now, since I've done that, giving myself +1 to my attacks this round. Hopefully, again, I don't hit the minus on there. But since we do have a persistent, I believe is what that is called, round bonus. That's not persistent bonus. The other one's going to be the round bonus one. Since I'm using that first, that is going to go up here into my active spot here to show that that is still happening. Hopefully to let my feeble mind remember that that is there. So that's going to stay there for a little while. Then I'm going to go ahead and go with this this 4 attack here, which will give me 1 there. And we are going to go ahead and hope we get that +1 as well and see how that looks. Let's go ahead and roll. We did get a plus right there for that. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're actually doing 6 damage on this turn, which is going to be awesome. So that brings the enemy down to 2. And let's not forget, I do have to move my cube down 1 right there to figure out my modifier for the next round. So we basically, thankfully, avoided the nullifying one. Alright, and since both cards I used were B-side cards, this one does go to the discard, and this one is now over, so that is also going to the discard. Since I only have 1 card left, and I do need it for more than 1 for the next round, I am going to have to perform a short rest. So what I'm going to do here is take the 3 cards here, we're going to place them back here on their A side, and then I'm going to randomly choose 1. Oh, I do need to put Leaping Claws in there, don't I? So we'll put that in there. And we will discard Wardening Strength. So that is going to go right there. So that leaves us with Leaping Cleave, Spare Dagger, and Shield Bash. So what we're going to go ahead and do is pick initiative 15 with Shield Bash. We're going to do that one. Since I don't need a move, I'm also going to use Spare Dagger because it gives me 2 attacks this round in case I need them, with one of them ignoring the shields. So let's go ahead and see where they're going to be on their turn. They're going to have a plus, so they're going to be at initiative 70 with 2 movement and 1 attack, but they're going to be higher up in the initiative, so we are going to be able to go before them regardless. They're not going to get any bonuses to defense or anything like that. So let's see what we can do. I think on my turn, I am going to use Shield Bash for the 3 damage. So I'm just going to go ahead and try to hit them. And we're going to go ahead and see right here if we can get the plus or if we get a minus. Regardless, they only have 2 health, so anything I do at this point is going to be, you know, whatever, and it's neutral. So it's a 0 modifier. I'm just going to straight do 3 damage to them here. It's going to flip back to the B side, and let's see, that moves down. That goes to 0 again. Move that off there, and we're going to take the blue cube off and place it right there. So as far as I can tell here, we are done, and the scenario is finished as far as that part of it, the actual action part of it. So with that said, we're going to move my figure off the card, take the card back up, and we're going to go ahead and read the bottom half of the card. Well, your gear certainly isn't shiny anymore, and it wasn't even particularly fancy to begin with. Come to think of it, got the job done at least, but your situation is quite dire. You'll need to survive long enough to find out how to restore yourself to original size. But for now, you'll need to deal with the vermling that just appeared. Read the Collector. So we're going to place this card over off to the side here, and then next we do have the Collector, which is the only card in the set that actually, that I can tell, has a character portrait or anything on it outside of the character cards themselves, of course. So the Collector, also called the Collector, right there. So, took out the scavengers, I see, the vermling offers. You're not the first to barge in on Hull and get this less than ideal result. We've all been there. Some of us have realized the need to work together if you are to make the best of this. I assume you like to be big again. You nod. Then I have a proposal for you. During my time here, I have collected things that may be useful. I may borrow them, and in exchange, I will accompany you so I may expand my collection. You may borrow them. That's what I meant to say. In exchange, I will accompany you so I may expand my collection. I can also tell you that your best hope for escape is getting into the Crooked Bone and taking the issue up with Hale. Unfortunately, you look behind you to see that the door is now firmly closed. Yeah, the only way in is through the Button's Kingdom, across the road. Come on. So it says you can now equip items during scenario setup, and then it tells us to play scenario 2, crossing the road. And as you can see from this card, as I said before, the top and bottom of the card do give you those items. Again, I know it's a little fuzzy, but they do give you those fuzzy. They do give you those options for different gear. The rules do go in, I gotta read through them again, but the rules do give you about how many items and everything on what level that you can equip during your scenarios and everything. Basically, you can equip whatever gear you have at that time for the scenario. So that is going to be all for that one. So I'd like to thank you guys for tuning into this gameplay of Gloomhaven Buttons and Bugs. Again, if you guys enjoyed this one and you'd like to see me continue going through the campaign, make sure to hit that like button. That's going to be the main way that I know of to keep doing more of these. Comment down below with anything you feel like I messed up, whatever I may have done. And I think that is it. Go ahead and hit that notification bell to know when this or any other videos are coming out. And as always, remember to subscribe to the channel to help the channel grow and grow and grow, much like the end result, hopefully, of this campaign. With that said, I have been Eric. This has been Rockshire Gaming. I'd like to thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.